Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of our G&A podcast. I'm your host, Soberoni, here with...
Scooby-Doo!
Yes. And we've approached the end of the winter anime season. It's
Yeah. Applause noise here.
I'll put a applause track in right there, actually, in editing. Be good practice for editing sound effects thing. I also put a laugh track in. And then...
Please don't.
So, extremely short episode, I think, because there's like 7 shows to cover because everything else is done.
Yup.
That's going to be... Well, we have another episode this week anyway, so it's like going to make up for it.
Excuse me.
So, without further ado, what?
No. Oh, shit. I was like, no, I'm just like, you guys should probably get used to the fact that, like, our episodes are going to be pretty much this long from now on.
I wouldn't say that. I think we're going to, depending on how much we talk about the shows that we're going to cover next season.
Yeah, that's fair. We will have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We won't feel as rushed as we did.
Yeah. We'll be able to take our time with the shows.
Yeah.
But
next week's going to be longer because you have to cover 2 episodes.
Yeah. All right, so next week is chaotic, but we'll go into that at the beginning of next week. For now, I think we'll just get it started with Akiba's trip.
Can't you tell I'm trying to stretch out the time?
I know. I'm trying to pad the time too. But we have to get to the show at some point. We can't just be...
Do we?
Yeah, Akiba's trip. So this episode, the final episode of Akiba's trip, was this big climactic battle against Mayoi's grandmother. They give her whole origin. She's like 74. It was like a casual reveal. They've been hinting at her being older than she really is throughout the whole show. And her and I forgot his name.
Tomoto,
yes. Tomoto travel through this underground like castle lair, fighting evading a bunch of random traps, fighting like goons that her grandmother set up, and eventually get into this big fight with her, final battle style. And then a bunch of crazy shit happens, and it ends with them in a concert, and then all the love of the people of the Akihabarans is sent to them, and they get like a big giant fucking kind of, well, it's not a mecha, I guess, kaiju-esque monster robot or whatever fighting form to fight a giant form of the grandmother. They beat her, restore peace to Akihabara, and it ends on a really weird note.
Really funny. I thought the note was hysterical because it literally, to the very end, was very Akiba strip.
Yeah, like the very end. Last scene is just them about to... By the way, if they kiss, wouldn't that take away his powers? Just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, they're about to kiss, and future versions of Nikawa and why am I forgetting everyone's name? Arisa show up in a spaceship and drag them to future Akihabara 100 years from now, where something else is happening. So it was a nice, cute way of ending the series.
Also, I don't know, maybe I'm overreaching, but I think that the fight scene, the quote-unquote mech fight scene...
It was a kaiju fight scene, yeah.
It was, but I think it also was a reference to G Gundam, the ending to G Gundam. Had a very familiar
Probably.
Yeah, it literally looked the same thing. Remember, I forgot the main character, but the main character and his bae.
Yeah, there's so many fucking references in the show. I would not be surprised if it was like... I'm sure that'll be shown somewhere, like a YouTube video where it's just like frame by frame of the G Gundam battle versus this one. And it's like exactly the same or something.
Yeah. Minus...
Yeah, but there's so many references. So many references.
Yeah, it was good. This is a really good, solid way to end up Akiba Strip. I was very pleased.
Yep, and it had a good... It's funny that the comedy show of the season had like a way better ending than most of the other shows, and a way more developed romance and stuff. Like the romance in this was better than the romance in Masamune-kun.
What
To a
romance?
degree. So I don't know. Overall, I think it was a really, really solid, good show, and I would love a second season.
Not gonna
Well,
happen.
I don't see that happening. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't ever see that happening.
Oh! You totally forgot to mention, like at some point when Tomotsu is about to like he's trying to like climb up to like save Mayo, and then he gets knocked off, and as he's about to fall to the ground, Hugo comes back.
Oh yeah, Puko's back. Like randomly,
back.
He just shows up.
That's incredible. Puko comes back. I'm like, yes, Puko.
And then she dies again, and then comes back again. Actually,
Stop.
and she gets like shot out of the sky, and then it just randomly shows up again in the towards the end in like the crowd.
Yeah.
So overall, I'd say solid 7 out of 10 show. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. A lot more.
I give it an 8.
An 8? Wow, you are the Paula Abdul of anime reviews.
First of all,
I just feel like you're gonna one up every score I give.
You're talking about that tweet you put out where you called me the Simon Cowell of Paula Abdul. I was like, shit. My sister literally was like, "What the fuck does this mean?" And I'm like, "This is like an inside joke that literally only I would get. Everyone else, no one knows what the fuck you're talking about." By the way,
no, they get it. You are the Simon Cowell of Paula Abdul's.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I'm just gonna assume you're gonna one up every score I give. So that's our formula.
Probably, except for the next one, because the next one I watched by myself, which is Chaos Child.
All right, that didn't finish yet.
Nope. Unfortunately. So we find out that nope. I was to misspeak horribly. Serika was the true mastermind behind everything. Ish. More or less. We'll say the true mastermind. Her plan was to more or less frame Senri. Like she set up this entire game. Like she literally planned everything, the murders, everything. And the whole plan was to frame this Senri girl, the pyromaniac, who wasn't even Senri in real life. And while Takuru would solve it, and he'd be the hero. Which is just like, that's kind of awful. I'm just saying. So the episode starts with the fallout of last episode we left off with the guys like, oh well, enjoy having your mind being broken. Essentially, this happens by sense deprivation. Like using his psychic powers, he took away Takuru's senses. And of course, slowly he starts going mad because, funny enough, he's like, he refers to like the experiments of like sense deprivation as he's being deprived of his senses. So it's just like it was a little funny how he was like giving a convenient like reference to like what's happening to him as it's happening to him. But yeah, basically to survive, he starts to hallucinate Serika again, which I don't know. I found that very interesting because it's like, why is he thinking of Serika? Like, why is he like? At first, I thought it was gonna be like some stupid anime bullshit where they're like, "Oh God, just the thought of her is going to be enough, and he's gonna break through and da 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 da." And yes, that's what happens, but it happens because that imaginary friend version of Serika that's what helped him survive all that trauma growing up with his negligent parents. So I found that very interesting. Yeah, like I said, he breaks free of the sense deprivation and fights Dr. Sakuma and kills him. Serika was like, "Ha, I fake being dead." She gets up, and then they kind of start fighting. Unfortunately for her, they clash D swords. D swords are just weapons that psychics can wield. I don't know why. Don't like. I have no fucking idea. Because Chaos Child. But when two people clash with D swords, they can exchange, like, they can read each other's minds essentially and memories. So that's when he finds out. That's when Takuru finds out that Serika planned everything. And then in addition, he also saw like through her eyes how, like, what he said to be created. What he said to create her, I meant. And it took place after the earthquake. He said, "Give me something to do. Give me something I want to do and help me do it." And then she came to exist. But the crazy thing, and as I told Silveroni earlier this week when we discussed it, I was like, psych majors are going to love it because the whole point of making that his wish is because all his life he grew up, because he didn't have too many friends or whatever. He had that whole complex, like, oh, I'm so better than everyone. Like, I know what to do in a real crisis. Like, yeah, everyone else is just stupid. When you grow up being isolated like that, it's only natural that you can end up getting that kind of, superiority complex. And excuse me. And I find it interesting that literally the whole point of that wish after the earthquake was like, he felt like, oh, like, I want to be the hero. I want, like, to do something that only I can do that'll make me seem like I'm the best. Like, that's essentially what they were alluding to when he made his wish, which revealed this totally big fucked up hero complex that he always had deep within himself. And but once he realizes that and sees all the murders that she carried out, replicating the events from 6 years ago, he's like, shit, all those people I look down upon, like, I'm no better than them at this point. Because if my ego is so frail that I had to make up an imaginary friend who literally goes around killing people just to make me seem like the good guy at the end, then, what does that say about me? So he's like, I need to put an end to this because this is obviously not healthy in any way, shape, or form. The whole point of her being, her whole purpose is not really healthy at all. So so he's about to do something, and she's like, "No, please don't." And then it's like another layer to this whole, like, to who he is, because she came from him. She has the exact same complex. She's like, "No, don't take away, like, don't kill yourself. Like, don't take away my purpose of being. I don't want to be like everyone else. I don't want to be normal." So ultimately, she's just like him because she came from him. But in the end, he decides to take responsibility. He uses his abilities to one last time to, I think, give Serika a new reality where she's, like, isolated from all of this, essentially. And he surrenders to the cops when they come to arrest him. And that's literally the end of it. I was just like, whoa. Like, I don't know, I was like, damn, that was a really deep ending. The whole anime was still shitty though, but That was that was an actually solid ending. I actually liked it. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be a whole bunch of crazy stupidness that I don't understand. But out of all the episodes, this was the most relatable one.
So overall score?
Overall score, I'll give it yeah, I'll give it a 6. I would have given it a 5, but like this ending was like really wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was I enjoyed it. I'll give it a 6.
I would say play the visual novel. I haven't watched it, but something tells me the visual novel is just 10 times better.
Like I don't know. In my opinion, I wouldn't even want to watch a visual novel. Because they just went, they had a solid way to go one way, and then they just went, like they just started scribbling all over the page. I'm not a huge fan of the direction that they went in towards the end, which is why I would give it a 5. But then the last episode was so good, I gave it a 6. So I wouldn't even probably watch a visual novel.
Well, you wouldn't because you've already seen it. But so can we move on to Gabriel Drop Out?
By all means.
Okay, so Gabriel Drop Out's final episode. Gabriel's sister finally shows up, and she's pretty much what I expected. She's just this super strict, like, angel that's super famous and super powerful. Comes, and at first, Gabriel tries to fool her into thinking that she's not the person that she is and that she's not changed at all. So she does this whole little sister act by wearing cat ears and putting on a maid outfit and everything and trying to paint herself as like a really good person to the point where or she gets her friends to lie for her too to the point where Mine is like conflicted with lying versus helping her friends, having like a mental breakdown. And then she ties up Satania and just locks her in the closet. It doesn't last long. It all comes tumbling down, and then
her closet literally comes tumbling.
Like, yeah, it literally all comes tumbling down. Sister is just like, oh yeah, I know you were lying from the start. I've been watching you this whole time, so I'm gonna fix you and make you a good person again. Takes her back to heaven to like reform her. Gabriel ends up coming back as she was when she first appeared in the show, in her true angel state where she's always helping people and always doing the right thing and super nice and everything. And it's kind of rubbing everybody the wrong way because they're not used to it, especially Tanya. And then when they're trying to, like, they plan to get her to fall back into being all devious by just luring her in with video games and stuff again. And then she reveals that she's actually not changed at all. This is all another act that she's putting on to trick her sister into thinking she's changed again. And then, of course, her sister is like watching her again while she's revealing it. And it's like, oh, so you really haven't changed. Time to re-educate you again. And then a dog shows up, or Satania's dog shows up and scares Gabriel's sister away. The end. Gabriel learns nothing, continues her life as a delinquent.
But interesting enough, Zola was like, because she's so scared of the dog, she was like, all right, you can stay, but I'm going to stay with you. So I'm like, that almost sounds like, season 2, even though they probably...
Yeah, that would have been... I actually like that setup because she was like, oh, your friends are so... You're so friendly with your friends or whatever. You love your friends so much, I don't want to tear you apart. I'll stay with you and re-educate you here. Which I wouldn't have mind if they like moved in together and it'd be like a fucking sitcom style.
Yeah, I think it actually would be really
odd couple thing. I don't know. I was also hoping for an ending where maybe she gets her sister into games or something, and then her sister's just all corrupted and shit.
Yeah, that would have been a funny alternate ending.
I don't know. I kind of like the direction it took, though.
Yeah, it was good. I'm just saying, like, her sister was like, bye, and she gave up. She snatched that bitch right up, and I was just like, oh my god. Those moments in the anime where someone literally just like, no, you're coming with me, and then they're just both gone in an instant. That happens all the time in like Supernatural. So it's like whenever that happens, I'm just like, oh shit, something's about to happen.
Yeah, I think overall it was a strong comedy. Probably, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's the best comedy of the season because it had a lot of competition. But any other season, this easily would have been the best comedy.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm going to overall just stick it with an 8.
Me too.
Oh wow, you're not gonna Paul Abdul me and give it a 9.
Nope, I gave a 9 to whatchamacallit,
Konosuba.
Yeah, Konosuba got a 9.
Yeah, that's about where I actually want to amend my scores for Konosuba, but I'm not going to because I want to be firm in my scores.
Yeah, so I feel like you just rated this with Konosuba, and I'm just like, Gabriel Drop Out was funny, but wasn't Konosuba
I don't know.
funny.
It's about there with Konosuba season 2. It's like I think Konosuba season 2 is better than Gabriel Drop Out, but not by like a country mile or anything. Not by a whole score. They were both respectively very good.
Okay, I guess you can agree to disagree on that one.
All right.
What's next?
What's next? Kobayashi, Maid Dragon.
Gosh, I feel like I always start off like discussion by like nothing much happened this episode.
No, what happened this episode? Kind of, sort of.
Towards the end. Yeah, towards the end. Okay, I'll give you that one. So basically, the first part starts off with Toru like just trying to make omurice for Kobayashi, and she's like, "Oh, I just need to make the best rice for ever, like just the best, the best. That's even better than the first time I made it." So she goes through all this like these funny antics to go make it. Eventually she ends up going back to her country and just has like a bunch of like random items. Because at Lukoa's advice, she was like, just get the best ingredients to make your dishes good. So yeah, that's what she went for. But in the end, I guess Kobayashi wasn't too happy about it. Let's see. Also, the scene of Lukoa playing with the boy was cute. With Shota, I think was that his name?
Yeah, Shota.
Yeah, that scene was really cute. It was really heartening. It was a nice change from "oh, she has big tits" joke. Like very refreshing. Let's see. Oh, on the train, Kobayashi falls asleep and has a flashback to like when they first met, which was very interesting.
That was like the best part.
That easily was.
It's one of the top moments of the series, actually, for me.
Like, yeah, apparently Kobayashi just had a hard day at work. She just drinks like a madman, wanders into the forest.
The part where she's on the train and she passes her stop and she just laughs because she passed her stop. She's like, if I stop, ha ha ha, where am I going to end up?
And then Dragon's like, oh, who are you? Da, 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 da. And then she's like, it's a dragon, yeah. And she essentially acts all like drunk, happy, and then she's like, oh, the sword of the gods. And then she's just like, oh, fuck your sword. And then she just pulls the shit out. And then she like insists that the dragon drinks with her, even though it's a dragon. But I guess that doesn't stop her as she transforms into her human form. And then they just both get really wasted, and they have those conversations where you're just like raging at the world.
Yeah, it was a really relatable conversation.
Yeah, kind of like conversation I had with Kyle last night. Hi, Kyle. the part where what calls it, Kobayashi is complaining about like how her boss is like asking her to do 1,000,001 things, and then
related.
And then Toru rebuttals like, oh yeah, and then how everyone thinks that we're a bunch of lolicons because they think all dragons want, a virgin sacrifice.
Yeah, don't you hate when you ransack a village and they think that you
I
want
know. See, that's where I identified. I'm like, I do not always want a virgin sacrifice. Sometimes, they could have lost their virginity, like, maybe had sex once or twice. I'd be okay with it. It's okay. It's 2017, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a very fun scene. And then later on, Toto talks about the first human she met, who was some bandit who was like, I'm on the run from the law and I'm all alone. Let's just hang out together. And the bandit reveals that she wants to be a maid. And why she wants to be a maid. And ultimately, that's what convinces Toru to, take such pride in, her
being a maid.
Yeah, I was like, her maidship. Yeah, so that's how she takes pride in being a maid. But then at the end, they show two things, which I'm just like, one of those moments where they just show like, a close-up of Saikawa's sister, and I'm like, is that her? Is that what you're trying to not so subtly hint at?
Was that Saikawa's sister? I think that was just her in the alternate world as a maid.
Oh, I think so too. I don't know.
I just like short hair.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why they showed her, to be honest. Like, oh yeah, she had to be a maid. The end. No one cares.
Toru cares.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't even remember her name. But yeah, and then a portal opens up in the middle of the sky, and then you see like a big scary dragon's eye, which at this point isn't too scary because they all
have scary eyes.
Yeah. Oh no, you know who's freaked me out the most? Lukoa. Every time she opens,
I love Lukoa's eyes. They're so fucking crazy.
That's a shit that gives me nightmares. Oh my god. I never want to see her as a dragon. I will literally wet myself. But yeah,
I was about to give the show a score, and I'm like, oh wait, it didn't finish yet.
Nope, did not finish yet.
All right, so hold off on that. But I do absolutely love this episode. I think it might be one of my favorite. I don't know. I don't want to say the episode itself is super great, but the scenes of it had two of the best scenes in the show with them meeting each other, Kobayashi and Toru, and Toru. I really like Toru's flashback too because it was done in such a way where it's like not overly sentimental, but not overly casual either. It's like, oh, this is a fond memory I have. One day I met this girl who was a human, and we got along for like a couple hours. But it wasn't like, you can tell it was kind of important to Toru, but it's not like her defining moment of being a dragon or whatever like that. It wasn't overly hyped. It's not like she died at the end. Like I was expecting him to go overboard and like,
yeah, I know, and then the human gets killed, and
gets killed and raped or something,
by her dragon parents.
Yeah, like no. And then it was just like, oh no, I just met her. I hope she's doing well. And that's about it. So it felt more realistic that way. And I love the scene with Toru and Kobayashi because I don't know, it just made him so much more relatable.
Yeah. Also, I like the scenes because I've never like loved like Alali so much as I love Kana. I don't think I ever have like ever. Like this is the first
her
time.
Moment,
like
her like very few moments in this episode were super cute.
Yeah. Oh, where she comes home and she just like puffs out her horns.
Yeah.
Gagging, absolutely gagging. Oh, so adorable. And the scene where Toru's trying to cozy up with Kobayashi, but it's like it's too
that's one of my
tight.
favorite scenes.
And then it's Kips and she's like, "Hey, Kana," and Kana's like, "Yeah."
That was like perfect delivery of a line before Kobayashi can even like want to scoot over. Nope.
Oh my god, yeah. It's just those little bits really just make it so much better.
Yeah. Plus, I like one of my biggest problems with the show so far, even though I never really mentioned it, was making it believable that Toru and would just show up at Kobayashi like, oh, you pulled the sword out of me and now I'm your maid forever and blah 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 blah. That always felt kind of forced and like,
yeah.
But now that I actually see how they met and bonded for the night, it makes sense. Plus, they bonded over something like Universal with the whole "I'm just really like I wonder why I'm so lonely right now" type of thing while they were drunk, which is totally relatable and super interesting to take a look on, like perspective. So I don't know. It just justified the whole existence of the plot of the show for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. That's a good episode.
Yes. Moving on, we have Kuzu no Honkai, which finally ended. So this episode, pretty much, it was kind of filler-ish. There was the school festival, and through the whole episode, you're following Hana. She's thinking about like reflecting on everything that's happening and how she feels about it. And it kind of just ends with them. I don't want to say it ends because I feel like I should say more of the summary of the episode, but really it's just Hana thinking about her life, or not her life, but her situation, and then the situation with Sensei and Akane and how she wants to move on with Mugi and what she should do. And it kind of builds up this tension because she's like, oh, what is she going to do with Mugi? Are they going to get back together? What's the situation going to be? And I think halfway through the episode, they meet in a storehouse and they just look at each other. And then it jumps to like 7 months later or 6 months later. And you're kind of like, oh, what happened? And then it jumps to the wedding for Akane and Sensei. Akane throws a major shade at Hana. Because she has to get the last fucking hit in. And then you get the ending with Hana's decision, which is essentially, no, they're going to part ways and look for their true love. And I got to say, at first I was on the fence because, full disclosure, I knew the ending was going to be like a week ago because I read the manga and the manga chapter finished a week ago. But now that, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that ending. But now that I've actually seen the episode, I fucking love the ending. Yes. It was an amazingly great ending. It's super fucking. The anime did it way better than the manga. It was a super fucking amazingly good ending. Because, and I'll tell you, the manga made it because it was so short. I think the chapter was only like a dozen or so pages, and it felt like, because of that, it felt really forced and like, oh, sudden. But the anime actually, because of the filler, like a good use of filler, it actually padded it out to make it not feel as rushed, and it built up tension. And you were like, what's going to happen with Hana and Mugi? What's going to happen with Hana through the whole episode? And then it finally was like, but we decided to not get together. And it was like, oh, well, that makes sense because the whole theme of the show is not using someone else to fill in your emotional wounds or not taking advantage of other people to fill in some emotional hole you have.
I fucking called it.
Yeah, and Drew called it.
I called it, and it was great. And then literally,
I'm glad it has the balls to pull off that kind of ending too. Not many shows have the balls to pull off that kind of like super like hard hitting ending. Yeah, not making it a happy ending.
It was so. Oh, God, I fucking love that. This is potentially one of my favorite ending. It's because it was just so on the money. It was just so on the money. Like, just everything. Like, it's like all the shit that you had to sludge through and watch. It's literally like a moment. Like, it's true growth. Which some people were a little impatient to see, but I always had hope in my heart that I was going to end up like it.
I'm also glad to see Akane grow as a character.
Shut the fuck up before I actually kill you.
But
that's
I think
that's like there. That's my only. Yeah, that's my only thing. Like
that's my complaint too. That she got a happy ending and shit without any consequence.
Exactly. And when she threw that shade, oh my god, I would have pulled the page right out of School Days, and I don't know. I don't even know what that means at that point. Like, what do you want? Decapitation? You want me to cut your baby out? I'm gonna throw you off the building? Like, what do you want? Because if you ever said that shit, I would drag her. Like, I would literally just no.
I will say this.
Mm-mm.
I don't, before you go on a 10-hour tangent of how much you hate Akane, I will say this. I don't like Hana, but she did have the best line in the show this episode, which was the part where they're in the storehouse and they're talking, and then she says something to the effect of
wait, oh my god, if you're about to say what I wrote down in the quote, I'm about to fucking flip out.
Is it the part where she's like, we finally comfort each other with words instead of our bodies?
Using words instead. Yes.
Yeah, that's like the best quote. It summarizes the whole fucking point of the show.
Like, we avoided physical contact and just use words instead to
comfort each other.
Yeah, it's comfort each other or to speak our emotions. I'm just like, yes.
That because the whole point, like I was saying earlier, was why every time they meet each other, it's just them trying to have sex with each other and never like that. It brought me back to the first third episode or so where after the whole Echen thing, and then Hana's clearly feeling uncomfortable and confused, and instead of running to Mugi and be like, Mugi, I'm uncomfortable and confused, what should I do? It's like, Mugi, quick, let's have sex. So it's like this whole thing with, I don't know. Yes, I guess she did grow. She realized, wow, we can't just run from everything and try to hide it with sex. And it feels so much better when we actually speak to each other and connect emotionally. And I think that's a theme for both Hana and for Akane.
Yes, even though Akane has outright, she just outright said that she is going to still be a slut.
Well, she does change. She does. I think that whole thing with her saying "I'm still going to cheat on you" is kind of just her trying to get what his reaction would be and playing around with him. I don't think she's going to cheat on him. She has no reason to.
Except that she's a slut. But what you call that? Oh, I do like when after the time skip, well, one of many time skips. I think they skipped to like March, and then like Hana and Echen finally reunite, but Echen like cut her hair, and she's like, "I'm a true lesbian."
Yeah.
Shout out to all the short-haired girls who are actually straight, but
yeah. This show, I think, this ending in particular is kind of why I really like anime so much, is because if you get like a big Hollywood movie or like a big, heavy TV show, usually 9 times out of 10 they can't do this kind of ending, because I'll tell you right now, this ending is great, but it's not a satisfying ending for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to look at this ending and be like, oh, she didn't end up with anybody. I'm not satisfied by that. It's like she got nothing, even though the whole point of the show is her character development. Yeah, so I can understand, like,
there's a need to end up with
there's going to be a lot of people who are not it's not a very satisfying ending. It's not a conclusively satisfying, and they lived happily ever after, the ending. It's a realistic ending, which is she got nobody, but she grew as a person. So a lot of people aren't going to like it, and a lot of movies and shows in the West just don't do that type of ending. They're like, no, we have to have a conclusive, happy ending, everything else be damned. But no, I like these endings that make you feel this is a much more memorable ending than it would have been if it was just a happy she got with Mugi, the end ending.
That literally would have been so bad. That actually would have literally just almost ruined the show for me.
So yeah, this is more memorable. This makes you think a lot more on the message of the show. It makes you appreciate her character and Mugi's character and everybody else's character a lot more. And I'm just glad it ended this way. And put the show a lot higher than it otherwise would have been on my list.
Honestly, it's my favorite ending. Like
Of the season?
Yeah. So yeah, I really can't think of any other ending that's just like better. Like, because this is
Probably,
like this is like real. This is like real. Like it's an anime, but this is also like real human shit.
Yeah.
Like, like
I can agree with that.
This is real human shit. That's why I like it so much. Like it's not just like some like, oh, is everyone's happy ending? Like they're like, no, this is like this is how human people go through life, going through these same decisions, which is why I tried to press it. This is the thing I pressed from episode 1, day 1 with Hana. So like, yes, you may not like her character, but her character is relatable because it is painful. As she as a teenage girl, it is she is painfully human, and this whole up and down arc is painfully human, and it is all just a painful, messed up, muddled up journey. It's not clear all the time, not like, you know, some people, including Silver Oni, would have wanted it, but that's just not how life is. In a lot of cases, there's a lot of like crazy shit that happens because you don't have your shit together and you don't know how to cope with these situations.
Just because I get her character doesn't mean I have to like her character.
You don't have to like her, that's fine. But I think her character was very well done. There's a lot that was said in between the lines, like, you know, even throughout like the making out and stuff. Which is why, you know, that line was said, well, we avoid physical contact and just use words instead to express our emotions.
Such a fucking good line.
It is, because they were still expressing some kind of emotions when they were with each other. They just didn't use words. I mean, Silver Oni just saw it as sex. I saw it I just saw it as poor communication, more or less.
I see it as them, instead of actually trying to you know, get over, like actually confront their problem and work together and get over it and communicate, just using it as a form of like escapism. Like they're always saying like, oh, I just need to be touched right now. I need something to get this off my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what they would do. And even when those feelings started like changing, warping slowly but surely, they still did the same song and dance more or less. I think you just couldn't tolerate it as much. I knew where this journey was trying to take me, and then it landed. Bitch, I predicted the ending. I predicted how great it would be.
Call me when you predict 3 endings in a row.
No, I'm not. I was way too invested in this one. That's why I just like, this is exactly how I wanted it to end, and it did end.
You know how we always say every high schooler should watch School Days? I think every high schooler should watch School Days. Okay, like back to back.
Why should every high schooler should not watch School Days?
No, they should watch School Days, and then they should watch Kuzu no Honkai.
No, they should not watch School Days. Unless you like anime, then you should watch it. I think every high schooler, period, should watch Kuzu no Honkai. That's actually a really great show. Oh God, I kind of want to watch Peach Girls now.
All right. Before we go on too long with this, overall rating, go.
No, you first.
Oh, you're just gonna one up me? No, you first.
Okay, 8.5.
Nice middle of the road rating. I'm gonna say, fuck. I really. I'm gonna give it. What did I get? I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8. I really want to give it a 9, but I just feel like there were a lot of elements that in the middle and beginning.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, whoa, no. I would literally fight you on that because I'm just like, how dare you give it a 9?
So no, I'm not gonna give it a 9.
After all the bullshit you made me suffer through, I'm trying to convince you how these people.
Because the ending was so strong. No, I gotta take into account the whole series. So I think the middle and beginning were at best. So I'm gonna give it an 8. Anyway, now we have Little Witch Academia. which is going on till next season. I'm not going to cover it next season because you'll see why when we upload the. Oh, well, we would have already uploaded it by now. But if you didn't watch the spring preview episode, go watch it and then come back and listen to this. But I'm not going to cover it going forward because we're going to only focus on the spring shows. But I will do a review of it after it's finished, like in my own personal separate video. But this week, this episode, kind of disappointing. It was essentially a body swap episode. There is going to be a festival in the academy, kind of the equivalent of a school cultural festival. They all have different roles that it kind of was like biting off Harry Potter a bit with the sorting hat, where they have to reach into a plant and then they pull out sprouts and the sprouts tell them what their role is in the festival. And then Akko is forced to do it as a representative for her group, but she's just going on and on about like, oh no, I have such bad luck at this. I'm really, really shitty at lotteries. Eventually, they force her to go up. She pulls out one of the sprouts, and it tells her her and her friends are going to be the sacrifices for the festival. And then they're like, what the fuck does that mean? They're like, oh yeah, in the middle of the festival, we're going to summon this ghost like prince, and he's part of the ritual is he eats the sacrifices, and they're like, are we going to die? And like, oh no, don't worry, he eats you, but then he's gonna shit you out and you'll be perfectly fine. You're just gonna pass through his digestive system. And they're like, that's fucking worse. So they literally got the shittiest job. And then Susie is just like ecstatic about it, just like, oh, I get to be inside of a fucking ghost, yes. And Akko is just like, nope, fuck this shit. So she's trying to take Diana's job, and Diana's job is like the most, of course, prestigious job, and she gets to be the one who summons the ghost or whatever. And she has to use a mirror to do it. So while Akko's following her and looking at the mirrors, one of the mirrors uses its magic to not body swap, but give her the body of Diana. So there's the fake Diana, who's Akko, and the real Diana running around the school. And Akko, as Diana, just basically uses her appearance to fight. Well, at first she tries to like find a solution, but then she's like, well, while I'm in this body, let me quickly play a prank on the school bullies real quick, and then fuck around a bit, go to Diana's room, see what's up, read her diary, yada yada. Until they come
juicy?
What?
Anything juicy?
No, well, she doesn't read her diary. She like looks at it real quick and is like, "Oh, it's a diary. I can't look at it." And
damn it, Akko! God, literally the worst.
And the diary just says something about like, "Oh, the magic in the world is fading, and I have to save it." And nothing juicy. And then a couple of students come to Akko thinking she's Diana, like, "Oh, Diana, we need you to do your magic on the statue to change the pose for the festival." And Akko is like, I can do this. And of course, she fucking fails and can't do it. And then the real Diana shows up and fixes it and reverts Akko back to her true form. Follows a confrontation. They're like, Diana's obviously pissed and claims that Akko is just fucking around, has no devotion or passion. Akko's like, no, I'll show you. Ends up talking to Ursula. Ursula tells her to go look into, one of the fucking other magic things in the school, Polaris, to like see where her true destiny is. And it shows her a vision of Chariot when she was in school, and how Chariot was focused on just being the best person she can be and not focusing on being the best witch at the academy, but just having fun. So that kind of changes how Akko, views what she wants to do. Overall, it was an okay episode, but I feel like I had so much potential, but it delivered on nothing, because I was really expecting like, oh, maybe we'll get a glimpse in Diana's life and they'll show something about her character. Nope. Mm-hmm. Like I was expecting like maybe Diana will see something where she has, especially when her diary shows up, I'm like, oh, maybe she has some kind of insecurity or something. Like maybe she hates being dependent on so much and it really weakens her, or she like feels really insecure about her abilities or something. Nope, none of that. It was just Akko fucking around for a bit. So, I don't know. It just didn't deliver on any of the character development I think it could have.
If I was Akko, I just straight up would literally go in front of a bunch of people and just violently piss myself in front of everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure you. I'll leave that for the Dojin artist. I'm sure we'll get one of these body changing, and that's a hot topic. I'm sure there'll be one of those popping up. Next.
Oh, Kiss Cut a Big Bang. So there's 3 days until a joint concert with all the 2 other boy band groups. Before then, Adam realizes that he sent the wrong CD to the space it's not a space. Is it space shuttle?
Launch.
Is that the correct term? It's the space launch. Then don't fucking
was it a
correct
satellite
me.
Launch?
No, it was like a rocket launch, but like to the space. Why do we not know words? I did not study space. We'll just call it a space shuttle. So he sent the wrong CD to a space shuttle. So he's like, oh, I have to go give him the right one, I have to give him the right CD so our CD can be shot up to space. I'm like, it's not like we have fucking 2 days for a fucking concert, but whatever, I'm just gonna go. So he goes, hands in the CD, hands in everyone's CDs from the other 2 idol groups as well. Then Autumn gets caught up in a typhoon, of course. So he can't make it to rehearsals, and then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. It's as if my stupidity led to something bad happening again. So they're like, all right, just get on the flight the next day, bright and early. And he's like, all right, I'll wake up early. the next was actually funny because everyone started calling him. Like, it's literally just like a scene of everyone calling him to like, hey, what's up? And they're just all saying a bunch of like this random shit. And he's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And then one guy was like, when his upperclassman, or yeah, I guess upperclassman was like, hey, what do you want your good morning kiss? And he's like, nowhere. And he just hangs up. There's a lot of random stuff. That was like pretty much like my favorite scene from this episode. Unfortunately, he can't make it to airport on time because there's heavy traffic. And by the time he does get there, all flights are canceled because said typhoon ended up like traveling to where the concert was going to be. So obviously there's no like airplane traffic headed there. So using the power of money, they book a charter plane to eventually fly him to and back. But for the last part, which is very, they're just so essentially, instead of just landing the plane like normal people and driving to the concert and then performing, from the charter plane, they parachute into the stage to do their last number. And they have the concert, everything goes well, everyone's all happy and stuff. But I'm just like, you guys could have easily died. Like that could have gone wrong in like a gajillion ways. There's like parachute malfunction, the wind could have blown you off course, you landed in the fucking audience, you guys get tangled up in each other's parachutes. Like, that is like no one ever has no one has ever done that because that's such a stupid thing to do. It's on a true, what you call it, in a true marginal for Kiss Cut a Big Bang fashion, they go out with, a big bang. God damn it. I wish it wasn't like in the title because now I just feel redundant. This anime was just very, very, very silly. I'm trying to be objective about it. If you like anime, if you're like that girl who kind of likes watching by shonen anime, I would give this. I would give this a 7, and that's me being nice. That's me being objective about it. Yeah, Jesse.
Get something on.
What?
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see you give something a 1.
Oh my god, if it's a 1, I'd be like, this is the. I'd be like raging. I'd be like, why the fuck did we watch this?
Boruto.
Which is why we're not watching it unless we get a good billion likes. But yeah, just like I personally would make it lower only because they just do a lot of things that are not resemblance of like any idol group. Like just most idol groups just don't perform like they do, nor do they wear such stupid outfits. God, their outfits are all so stupid. God, I hate them. Why? No one dresses like this. And I'm not even talking about K-pop perspective. I'm even talking about in a J-pop perspective. Like they don't dress like that. So it's like, yeah, it just bothers me. But objectively, it's a 7. Nothing too great. Next
and last is Yojo Senki, which also ended, and this was basically season 2, the episode. Because, like I said, the last episode ended off perfectly. It could have been like, if the last episode was the ending episode, I would have been fine with it. But this episode was literally just all the building for season 2. Let's go. So, of course, the New Republic, because they were allowed to escape, is like starting a new war on the southern continent, which I'm assuming is Africa. So they're in Africa, and they're like, oh, time to tear shit up. We're going to regroup, and now we're recruiting new people, and we're starting a war on this front against the Empire. And the whole commanding leadership of the Empire is just kind of like, they were at a beer hall in the beginning of the show, in the beginning of the episode, midway through the episode, they're just like, we fucked up. We really fucked up. We should listen to Tanya. And so, of course, they're like, well, let's just send Tanya and her battalion out there to deal with this again. And so Tanya has to get her shit together and her battalion together to go out and fight on the Southern Front. And they kind of do all this foreshadowing and hinting of like, oh, I sure hope that all the other enemies don't team up and like attack us from all sides while Tanya's gone. I sure hope that doesn't happen. And it goes into a long explanation about how that's exactly what's going to happen because all the other nations surrounding them are kind of afraid of them. And now's the perfect time to attack them. So it ends with Tanya giving this speech to her comrades where she does the worst thing possible and it's just like, fuck God, we're gonna fucking kill everybody and fuck God, and I'm gonna show God that he doesn't mean shit and we're doing this for ourselves. I dare God to fucking stop me from killing everybody. And then cut to this guy's daughter, the evil guy that God had originally brought back, or being X brought back to fight Tanya. His daughter signing up for the army as a volunteer for the New Republic to fight Tanya and get revenge for her father. And then she's giving her own speech, her own like recruitment speech about how she's going to use the power of God to stop Tanya. And then her eyes glow with the evil God power magic that all his faithful followers have, implying that she's going to have some kind of special ability. Yeah, season 2. Eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally fine with.
Me too. Looking forward to watching World War II happen in an anime. Like that's literally it.
Yeah, this is gonna be World War II, the anime. This was World War I, now we're getting World War II. It's gonna be a fun watch. I really liked it. Also, I forgot it completely, but did you know that Tanya's voice is also Monika's voice from Monica Magica?
That just does not sit well with me. I just got indigestion.
Now I want to see their characters reverse roles.
If someone just like broke the fourth wall and be like, hey Tanya, your voice person who gives you your voice, she also plays a god.
Yeah, the irony is strong. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed the series. Another solid 8 from me.
Same. Yeah. And it looks like on that note, we should probably take this time to end it today. If you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. And
Yep, please do.
Yeah, we'll put up those videos about the new anime lineup. And
actually, it should be up by before this one. So
yeah, so be on the lookout for that if you haven't seen it already.
Look forward to next season, guys.
Yep, to next season, everyone. Till then, bye.
Later.